Once the backbone of the American dream, the middle class is now gradually fading away, even disappearing without a trace. They work tirelessly 60 hours a week, without addiction, without alcohol, but still have nowhere to call home.
Being middle class, I feel like you're really just in between a rock and a hard place.
So what really happened to the middle class, especially in major cities?
Seminar recently where somebody literally said there is no middle class anymore. The middle class is gone.
Is it the high housing prices, the crushing cost of living, or is there something else that America doesn't want you to know? In today's documentary, we will unveil the shocking truth about the middle class. People who are not lazy or depraved, yet still get caught up in the vortex of homelessness. Let's begin the journey of discovery, because there are still many mysteries waiting for you. Let's start the journey to explore Las Vegas, the most populous city in the state of Nevada. When mentioning the entertainment capital of the world, do you immediately think of luxurious resorts, glamorous casinos, all-night parties, and the elite living extravagantly with supercars and expensive meals? But hold on a moment. Amidst the dazzling lights and glamour, there is a reality that few want to mention. Hard-working, educated middle-class people, yet still have to live in their own cars.
I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada this week, and I'm going to show you how I secretly live here.
That's the story of Arslan, fed up with the very expensive housing costs in the U.S., especially in Las Vegas, where $2,000 a month is barely enough for a temporary shelter. Too tired of the survival race in the city, he chose a different path, living on the road. Over the years, Arslan has transformed every vehicle into his home, from the Sprinter van to the Camaro, and now a 2014 Chevy Suburban, where he eats, sleeps, and continues his journey. Not stopping there, Arslan records all his experiences on YouTube, sharing his nomadic life with those who are curious or share the same aspirations. No need for fancy restaurants, just a small kitchen platform attached to his car. Arslan can still cook decent meals by himself and enjoy them. As a part-time nurse, he still harbors a deep passion for helping others. But ironically, despite dedicating his whole life to caring for others, he himself has no stable place to call home. Every day, Arslan's life is confined to four wheels: a place to eat, a place to rest, a place to work, and even a place to search for the meaning of life. A pressing question arises. If a person works hard, possesses skills, and strives continuously, yet still has to live adrift in a car, then what truly is the motivation for us to strive? But this is not just Arslan's story. It is the heartbreaking reality that is affecting thousands of middle-class people in Las Vegas, who once had a home, a stable life, but are now forced to become reluctant nomads. Not because they are passionate about adventure, but because they have no other choice. When a normal apartment in Las Vegas costs up to $2,000 a month, but the cost of living in a car is less than $500 a month, many people have to make an undesirable decision: give up the dream of settling down for the sake of survival. Sadly, even after leaving the solid walls behind, they still cannot escape the harsh reality of the Las Vegas climate. In the scorching summer heat, with temperatures exceeding 110 degrees Fahrenheit, 43 degrees Celsius, their car is no different from a mobile oven.
Which meant it was 85 in my car. So for these 2 days, I had to run the engine and turn on my AC for about 6 hours each day.
And when night falls, other dangers begin to lurk. Rising crime rates, shadows of homeless people wandering, thefts that can happen at any moment. Choosing a parking spot has also become a survival art. Staying away from the casino area, avoiding places that attract attention, and always being ready to move if something unusual happens. Las Vegas, the city of luxurious hotels, glittering casinos, but also a place where thousands of people are secretly camping in the heart of the city. Arslan, like many others, parked on the roof of a garage, seeking hidden corners in the suburbs, hoping for a peaceful night without being noticed. This is not the romantic van life dream, not a journey in search of freedom, but a struggle for survival in the heart of a bustling city. Could it be that Las Vegas is the last city that never sleeps? But not because of the parties. Rather, because thousands of middle-class people are staying up all night worrying about where they will park tomorrow? Not only Las Vegas, but life in Los Angeles is also not easy at all. It sounds ridiculous, but the reality is extremely bitter. Hard work alone is not enough. Even the middle class in Los Angeles can fall into homelessness. We are still accustomed to the typical image of a middle-class family. A stable job, a spacious house, at least 2 cars, cozy dinners at restaurants on weekends, and annual trips. A life to be envied, right? But let's pause for a moment. Let's face the harsh reality. Los Angeles, the city of shimmering lights, a symbol of the American dream, where Hollywood stars shine under a luxurious sky. But behind that glamorous facade, amidst the skyscrapers and the dazzling streets, a terrifying truth is unfolding. In a place with up to 13.3 million people, even if you earn an average income of $65,950 per year, you might still not have enough money for rent. You might still have to live in your car, on the subway, or with relatives. You can still fall into the spiral of piling bills, of meals where every penny is counted. The American dream has never been so fragile. Another stark truth that Los Angeles certainly doesn't want you to know is that even though the middle class has high incomes, they are still poor. Not because they are lazy, not because they are not hardworking enough. They work 60 hours a week, sometimes doing 2 to 3 jobs each day. They hustle from morning till late at night, sweating, exhausting their strength, racing for every single wage with the hope that one day their lives will change. But what is the reality? To enter the middle class in Los Angeles, you need to earn between $55,000 and $165,000 per year. But even if you reach an income of $92,100 per year, the average income of a U.S. college graduate, it still doesn't guarantee that you will have a home to return to. That's right, even if you study hard, graduate from college, and have a stable job, you could still end up sleeping in your car or crammed into a small room with a dozen strangers. While a decade ago, many middle-class American families could live comfortably with just one source of income, now 1 million middle-class families struggle with 2 sources of income but still can't make ends meet. You don't believe it? Look at the telling numbers. The average home price in Los Angeles is $904,318, nearly 129% higher than the national average. Rental prices are skyrocketing, food is expensive, and medical costs are draining bank accounts. But this is the most shocking part. They don't drink alcohol, don't use stimulants, and don't indulge in extravagant entertainment. They don't splurge on lavish parties or expensive trips. They do not live indulgently, do not waste, do not fall into the traps of society. They just work, save, and try to live a decent life. Yet in the end, many people still can't afford to rent a house. In Los Angeles, just one unexpected medical bill, one late payment can send your life spiraling out of control. Today, you have an apartment, a car, a decent salary. But tomorrow, you might sleep on the sidewalk, holding a sign that says, "I'm hungry, please help." That is a truth that you must certainly acknowledge. It sounds unbelievable, but beyond the glamorous exterior, most of the middle class in Los Angeles are living off piled-up debts. Want to buy a house? Debt. Want to have a car? Borrowing money. Want to maintain a middle-class lifestyle? Keep borrowing money, time and time again. A repetitive loop that cannot be escaped. But these are the numbers that make anyone shudder. 80% of people with average incomes have to spend more than half of their salary just to pay for housing. What about the rest? 36% of their income disappears into credit card debt Installment loans, car payments, and bank interest. They think they have a stable life, but in reality, it's just a precarious walk on a tightrope. And with just one misstep, they could fall straight to the bottom. Bill and Terry Will, a couple with a total income of $70,000 per year, but still have to pinch every penny to survive. Everything seemed to be under control until Bill lost his job. They almost lost their house, almost went bankrupt, and had to swipe credit cards to buy each box of milk, each pack of diapers for their child. We've never had cable TV, and we still don't, Terry admitted. They are not the only ones. Hundreds of thousands of Americans, despite working tirelessly their whole lives, still cannot achieve a stable life. In Los Angeles, the middle-class dream is no longer a hope, but a debt that lasts a lifetime. And one day, you can no longer pay. Homelessness is just a matter of time. Los Angeles, the city of Hollywood stars, million-dollar mansions, lavish parties, and even shattered American dreams. On one side are Ferraris and Rolls-Royces rolling down the Golden Boulevard, where money is splashed in luxurious nightclubs. On one side are the old cars, where once middle-class families were pushed out onto the streets, turning their cars into mobile homes, just because they could no longer afford the rent. On one side are the million-dollar villas with swimming pools and large tennis courts. On one side are cramped apartments where people spend more than half of their income just to have a place to sleep. The same city, the same sky, but two completely different worlds. And now, even the million-dollar mansions have been reduced to ashes, leaving thousands of families with nothing. The luxurious mansions of Paris Hilton, Billy Crystal, Miles Teller, Anthony Hopkins are now just piles of ashes. I thought the disaster would cause house prices to drop, but no. Rental houses in Beverly Hills, already expensive at $14,000 a month, increased by an additional $4,000 overnight. A shock not only for the middle class, but also a death knell for those who still believe that assets will protect them from financial instability. Jay Gilberg, a middle-class man, once believed he had achieved the American dream when he bought a 5-bedroom house in Pacific Palisades to live with his family. But just 6 months later, his dream house turned into a pile of ashes. And the shock didn't stop there. House prices skyrocketed, and he couldn't even find a temporary place for his family of 5. In an instant, from being a homeowner, he became one of the thousands of middle-class homeless, pushed to the fringes of society due to an uncontrollable event. A paradox that the rich get richer, the middle class gets poorer. This is no longer a hypothesis, but a reality in Los Angeles. The median household income in California has decreased by 4% since 1969, while the income of the upper class has increased by 41%. The rich continue to enjoy supercars, mansions, and million-dollar parties, while the middle class struggles to hold on to every last penny. Finally, is New York City a more viable option for the middle class? Let's continue to explore together. In the U.S., a family of 4 with an income of $70,000 per year is considered middle class. But in New York, with the high cost of living in this city, $70,000 is nothing short of poverty. To live comfortably in Manhattan, you need at least $80,000 to $235,000 per year. Otherwise, congratulations, you qualify to apply for public housing. Owning a home used to be the standard for the middle class, but in New York, that has become a distant prospect. The popular formula 2.5 years of income equals 1 house may hold true in many other states. But in Manhattan, middle-class houses cost between $200,000 and $588,000. Even those with stable incomes, such as police officers or teachers, cannot afford to buy a house without additional sources of income. A police officer with 5 years of experience earns $69,000 per year, while a teacher with similar experience only earns $64,000 to $75,000 per year. In other states, they can live well, but in New York, they are still classified as low income. How to survive in an overly expensive city? There's only one way: share the costs. Living together is no longer a choice, but has become a survival strategy. Many people marry early or find roommates just to share the burden of rent, utilities, and food. But there is one thing they don't dare to do: have children. Only 17% of households in New York have children, less than half the national average. The reason? No one trusts public schools, while tuition at private schools reaches up to $40,000 per year. Another surprising thing that few dare to tell you is that the middle class in New York is getting poorer despite working harder. The story of Desiree Gaitan, 29, a social media manager, is a testament to this situation. She earns $40,000 a year, a decent salary in many other states. But in New York, after adjusting for the cost of living, her income is only equivalent to $17,900 in other areas. To survive, she has to shop at thrift stores, take on babysitting jobs, and share a house. This is no longer life. It's a daily survival challenge. Working hard, having a degree, having a stable job, but still not making ends meet. If you are not part of the super rich, you only have two choices: strive endlessly to survive, or leave this city forever. Next, $53,000 per year, the average income in New York. Sounds stable and enough to live comfortably? But you're mistaken. In a city where the cost of living is twice the national average, where housing prices are almost beyond the reach of workers, this income is nothing but a bitter joke. The result? A generation of middle-class Americans is being pushed out onto the streets. Not because they are lazy, not because they are wasteful, but simply because they cannot afford a minimum standard of living. Another shocking truth is that hundreds of thousands of affordable apartments have disappeared or been pushed up to market prices, forcing low-income and even middle-income individuals to leave the city or live cramped in dilapidated apartments. Rental prices keep skyrocketing while wages don't keep up, creating a desperate cycle. Working just to pay the rent, then working some more. And if you lose your job, sorry, you could be out on the street immediately. Although the government has announced plans to build more affordable housing, at the current pace, who will actually benefit? East Harlem, the last area still affordable, will it continue to be a place for workers? Or will it also be taken over by real estate corporations, pushing the last remaining residents out of New York? New York is developing rapidly, but who is really benefiting? The rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. And what about the middle class? They are not only disappearing, but are also gradually becoming homeless right in their own homeland. New York, the city where rental prices are sky high, making it difficult even for the middle class, while low-income individuals are pushed to the margins of society. In light of this situation, a solution has been proposed: micro-apartments. However, the question arises, is this truly a life-saving step, or just a sophisticated way to shrink living spaces while rental prices remain astronomical? The 30-square-meter studio apartments, and even some 15-square-meter ones with shared kitchen and bathroom, can they still be considered a home? Rental price? Not cheap at all. An SRO, single-room occupancy, averages $1,148 USD per month, while a small studio also goes up to $1,308 USD per month. So is this really a solution for the poor? Or is it just a way to reduce the size while still maintaining sky-high prices? In New York, even renting an affordable apartment is no different from a game of chance. Want to get a subsidized apartment? First, you have to enter the lottery. But even if you're lucky enough to win, you still have to pass a rigorous screening system: credit, rental history, and just one instance of late rent in the past can get you disqualified immediately. The reality is that 25 million people apply, but only 40,000 subsidized apartments. It's ridiculous. The odds of winning the lottery are even higher than the odds of getting housing in this city. In conclusion, New York, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, the most glamorous cities in America. but also places where the middle class is gradually disappearing. They work hard, but still cannot have a stable home. When rental prices skyrocket, wages stagnate, and living costs become increasingly burdensome, buying a house has become a luxury, and renting one is no easy task either. The American dream is shaking. When the gap between the rich and the poor is widening and inequality is deepening, does America still offer opportunities for everyone? Or is the reality that there are only two paths left, either super rich or impoverished? The middle class, once the backbone of the economy, is now on the brink of extinction. The question is, can they hold on, or is this the beginning of the next generation of homeless? We have tried to provide the most useful and accurate information, although we cannot cover every aspect. Consider this the starting point for your journey of exploration and further learning. If you find this topic useful, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to support the channel. Thank you for watching and see you in the next videos.